you all for coming this evening. We'd like to personally thank the Spraggs United Methodist Church for allowing us to have this meeting here. My name is Steve Barrett. I'm the managing editor from the Greene County Messenger. I am here also representing the Greene County Messenger is Jane Adams. She's our office manager. Some of you may know Jane. We are here tonight. How many of you saw the notice on either Facebook or in the paper about this meeting tonight? Okay. Purpose of the meeting is just to open up some opportunities to network, to talk, for the residents to express their concerns and issues and problems they're having with their landline service with representatives from Windstream. And I appreciate Windstream's efforts in being here this evening. We have, I believe, 6 representatives from Windstream. And what we're going to do tonight, this is not going to be a very formal forum. We're going to start, I'm going to provide some introductions to let you know who's here. And then we're going to give you residents the opportunity, if you feel so inclined, to stand up where you're at, or you can stay seated, to talk on the microphone, and we'll give each one of you 5 minutes to just express some of your concerns. And then we also ask that you say your name and your phone number so that the Windstream representatives can document that as well and help out. But we're not going to stop there. What we're going to do is, because we have 6 Windstream representatives, after we are done giving people a chance to talk openly in front of everybody on the microphone, then you can feel free to talk to them one-on-one. We also have representatives here from some other offices, and I am going to announce everybody here as well. From Windstream, first I'd like to introduce Brian Harmon. He's the President of Operations from PA, New York, and Ohio. Next we have Steve Grissom, Director of Operations from PA and Ohio. Mark Bean, Local Manager of Operations in Waynesburg. I'm sorry, is it Jean? Jean. Jean Shearer, Regional Vice President, State Government Affairs from PA, Ohio, New York, and Kentucky. Ronald Coots, he's Manager of Engineering in PA and New York. And we have Scott Morris, Senior Consultant, Corporate Communications. I also wanted to say that representing the County of Greene, we have, is it Mimi? Mimi Rittenauer, Fiscal Officer, Department of Economic Development. And from State Representative Pam Snyder's office, we have Heidi Jameson, Legislative Assistant. And I was wondering, by any chance, would there be any Wayne Township supervisors present with us this evening? Okay, thank you. So, appreciate all of you coming tonight, and I appreciate the residents as well coming this evening. So, let's start off with, if anybody would like to talk openly.
Oh. Let me, do I need to do anything? Okay, can you hear? Let me jump in. I just wanted to say thank you all for having us come in tonight. We look forward to this meeting and to come in and talk about the issues that we've had in this area specifically. To say that we know we've had issues here, and we've identified so far at least 10 to 15 opportunities where we're looking at things that we can come in, replace, fix, and make better, and to provide better service in this area. Now, with that said, we're also here to understand what else we may have missed, because those are the things that we've identified as a company, and we are in the process of trying to get that worked as soon as possible, and we'll continue to focus on that until it's done. So, as Steve mentioned earlier, they're going to pass the mic, and that's fine, but some of you may not want to get up and talk about your story. So I've got these 6 people here that came with me that will take your name and number and whatever issue you have, and we'll take that down. We'll go back, research it, find out what's going on, what we can do to fix it, and then we'll be more than happy to get back with you again as soon as possible to let you know what we can do to fix whatever issue may be. So I want to just kind of mention a couple more things about the group with me. Mark Bean is our new local manager. He's based here in Waynesburg. He's going to be kind of the point man for us here in this community moving forward. He's also a member of this community for most of his life. So some of you may know him. If you're not, be sure. He's a big fella, but he's real nice. So please go on up and say hi. Steve Grissom is Mark's boss. He is based in Ohio, but he spends a lot of time here in Pennsylvania, Waynesburg specifically. He also has Meadville, Pennsylvania, so he's very familiar with these areas as well. And then Ron Coots is, he doesn't work directly for me, not that that matters, but he's in a group we at Windstream call the Engineering Outside Plant Group, and he helps a lot with the replacement of cables, a cut cable, a cable down, rotten pole, things of that nature. We work through his group to get those things accomplished in a quick and timely manner. So I wanted to just kind of go over that real quick, and again, thank you for letting us come in here, and hopefully, you know, when we leave, we can all have a good understanding of what your issues are, and then we'll follow back up with you guys and individually and let you know what we can do to help you or fix the situation that may be existing. So with that, I guess I'll turn it back over to you, Steve.
Sir, I have a question. You said at the beginning you were approaching or addressing about 14 projects or identified 14 problems.
Yes.
Enlighten us. Please tell us what you have identified and what you're currently working on.
That's a great question. So here's how we tend to look at tickets, trouble tickets, if you will. They are generally come in an individual basis, or there could be a facility issue that may have happened, or there may be a facility that has an issue that facility may need to be replaced. So what we've identified are the ones where we know there's probably multiple trouble tickets in that facility, and that facility either needs some maintenance work done, or it potentially may go all the way up to needing replaced. And those are the things that we've seen on our own in taking a look at this area. And, you know, those are the big hitters, if you will, that, again, we've identified. But that's why we're here tonight, too, because, you know, earlier I was talking to a gentleman who told us about a situation where a cable was cut in the road, ran over by a dump truck, I think it was, and I think the cable ended up getting put right back up. Now, you know, that's not going to be good for long. So, you know, it's always a catch-22 in those situations. When you have a cable in the road, obviously you want to get it out of there as quickly as possible to get the traffic going. Some of you have probably been, you know, in one of those lines before. And needless to say, we want to go and make sure we do it right. Even if we are in a situation like that, where we want to get that cable out of the road as quickly as possible to free up traffic, then we need to identify that and come back and replace that cable at a convenient time for the community. So those are the things that we've identified so far.
I just asked that if anybody would like to speak about their personal issues, I can hand you a microphone, but we ask that you please state your name and phone number so that these representatives from Windstream can can get your information and they can talk to you at a later date. Anybody care to speak?
My issues has been for the last 2 or 3 years. My name's Frank Burris. My number is 724-435-7011. My phone's been out quite a lot. I have lost my wife last year. She was critically ill, and I had to go all the way to the top of the hill up here to get access to her cell phone to call in. And then we had issues with, we couldn't dial long distance for some weekends. If you dial 2 numbers, we go online, busy, we drop back out. And we've had the cable cut several times up this hollow on Calico Run Road. And spliced, one of them stayed for 3 years out here in the ditch. And maybe Alan might.
I think it's still there.
The guys that does the township have a bad trouble trying to clean the ditches, and the cable's still there, and they don't want to get it. Main problems is most of the time when it rains or something, you get noise on the line. so far, this weekend it has went out. Most of the time on the weekend when it does go out.
I don't need a microphone. Everybody knows me, I don't need a microphone. My name's Cheryl Hoy, my husband's Tad Hoy. Our number is 724-435-7207. I would say the last 5 years I've lived up there. The majority of the time I do not have phone service. I don't have cell phone service, so we rely on our landline. I'm dependent on oxygen. I talked to Mark probably about a month ago, told him my concerns. He did have it fixed within 24 hours. I have since had static on the line, but I do have dial tone. I've missed 2 oxygen deliveries because the oxygen company could not get a hold of me at my house. I think that's pretty much a priority. I've called into Windstream. There's been 4 to 5 times a week because I've called them because I don't have a dial tone, or I've called them because you can't hear on the phone. They ask me if I have a dial tone, and I say yes, and they said, well, then your phone's functioning. No, my phone is not functioning because I can't even hear the other person, nor can they hear me. One of the problems that we have is there's 4 or 5 of us that are on the same line. None of us 4 or 5 ever have phone service at the same time. Because it seems what the problem is, and what I'm hearing from the majority of the texts, is that our box is down on 218. The line will not be updated. We're on an old copper line. Condensation, precipitation, irritated to where we can't hear on the phone, and they're just switching out the switches. So we might have service, and then my in-laws down the road may not have service. Their names are Martha and Ted Boy, and their number is 724-435-7201. Last year he had a stroke. Thank goodness we didn't need the phone because I was able to get him to the emergency room in a timely manner for him to get treatment for that. He has a defibrillator. I don't believe not once has he been able ever, how long has he had that, 10 years?
9 years.
9 years, has never been able to report that on the phone. He has to make a trip into Morgantown every single time he needs to report his defibrillator. So just between us 2, there's 3 of us that have chronic diseases. I may look young, I'm 33, I've got numerous blood clots, and ended up coding in the hospital, and now I'm dependent on oxygen. So me and my husband are pretty livid that we can't get a phone service. I had to use my cell phone and use our UTV 4 different times in a day to get a hold of my doctors for an emergency, and had to drive about an 1/8 of a mile up the hill to call out because I didn't have phone service. So there's 4 of us that are on the same line that we never have phone service at the same time.
And if I may also add something too, when I spoke to Martha, I want to make sure that I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, but I believe I was told that it was around Thanksgiving that the phone service was out for 5 consecutive days.
We've had it out for 5 consecutive days. We've also had it out for, I think, 11 or 12 days at one time too. When I went into the hospital, my husband had to call our neighbor, who is the township supervisor, call his wife for him to go up the hill to let Martha know that I was in the hospital there admitting me and maybe doing emergency surgery. Because they didn't have phone service, we didn't have phone service. So we actually had to call the neighbor to run up the hill to let them know.
Yeah, yes.
I'm also their neighbor. I'm John McDougal, and I live below Ted and Martha. And I've had my phone out sometimes 2 weeks before I would get it back. I would get a dial tone, but the static would be so bad that I couldn't hear anybody on the other line. Sunday, I took a walk on Ted and Martha's property, and down in a ravine, the phone line was laying on the ground with a big tree down over. How long it's been that way, I have no idea. But I don't know, that can't be good.
Agreed. And I would,
Sorry, John, would you mind saying your phone number?
724-435-7813.
And first, let me apologize. We can do better than that for all of the names you listed, and we will do better. We will make it a priority. I believe, I think I'm familiar with that trouble ticket. I think it's yours individually. And I thought it was back working. I think it still is working right now, right?
It is, it did have static on it the other day,
Okay.
after the rain, but it has not completely lost out yet.
Okay. Well, we will get a group out there, and sometimes we call it driving the line, if you will, or as much as we can, because as you mentioned, there may be some that's off the beaten path. And, thank you. Did you call that trouble ticket in by chance?
No, I didn't have time. I took this walk yesterday.
Okay, fair enough.
I've been looking down that hall and I could see a tree down and I couldn't, the phone line that goes between Ted and Martha and I,
Mhm.
and it's across the road from my house, but it's down into a deep ravine and it's hard to see. But something just didn't look right, so I took a walk yesterday, so I haven't had time to call it in.
And you're right, that's not a good situation, and that can definitely impact the service that we are providing over that cable. If there is a limb or whatever the instance may be there.
It's a good sized tree. I mean, it
Right.
looks like a poplar tree about that big.
First, just a word of advice, don't try to take it off.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
because we've had way too many people in the past get hurt by that. We will take care of that. Since there's no ticket in, we'll get a ticket made on that one tonight, and we'll have somebody out there soon, hopefully tomorrow, to get this line off, or tree off the line.
What did you mean by, things are off the beaten path? Like,
Oh, that's a good question. So, my drive in here, we came from Waynesburg, and I've seen cable runs. Typically, there's an easement alongside the roads, and I'm sure there is here too, and there were parts of that where the easement is right along the road, so our cable line is right next to the road, which makes it easy for our technicians to access that. There's also, I've seen cable lines that are up the hills or further off the road.
I'd say that's where we have our problem.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah, and I agree. So, whenever, as being a telephone person, whenever I'm driving around in the area, I'm always looking up at the cables if I'm not driving, to see if there's anything that could be impairing service, whether it's a tree branch, a broken closure, whatever the case may be, or, a cable on the line. But those are things that definitely have an impact on service. And, beautiful ride through here, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of hills, and, some of those cables go back through there and aren't even, like you were saying, aren't even visible from the road necessarily. So we're not gonna know about that there's a trouble on there necessarily unless a ticket is called in. So once that's called in, we send a technician out, he shoots the trouble, and hopefully can find out exactly where that trouble is. That's what we do. And, if it is a tree on the, or tree, whatever the case may be, or, sometimes the cable is just torn down by wind, whatever situation that may tear down that cable and it's laying there on the ground. Those are things that we can come out and fix,
So what are
if we know they're there.
What are we supposed to do if, say, you call and you found a squirrel nest on the line where they've chewed the line? So when it rains, you get static and no line, and you tell them, you tell the tech that comes out or whoever, and it's still not fixed. My parents are elderly, have health issues.
Right.
Like you'll call their number, I can hear them, they can't hear me, you hang up, you redial it, and you get them. But we found the squirrel nest because we went up in the field.
Right.
It seems to me that that's the problem, it's off the beaten path is where the problems are. You can't ever get the text to go out.
Do you have as many men working as you had 10 years ago?
I've only been up here a year, but I would say the answer is probably no from 10 years ago, but I can tell you this, we have added additional people in this area.
Is that a permanent ad or a
Yes.
fix?
Yes, no, that is a permanent ad, but where we're at is, it's taken us longer than anticipated to get those positions hired. I was actually trying to recruit the gentleman sitting in front of you there a minute ago, or a few minutes ago.
All I
He
know
said he's
is,
retired.
all I know is, I've been here a long time. This is not my native area, but
Right.
I know when I first came, men came every summer, men and women, worked the lines, cleaned them off. We have a lot of acreage, and we have lots of trees on the line. And when I call in, the last time, the girl said, well, you own the land, take it off. I said, no, I'm not taking it off. I don't want to be dead. You come take it off. Doesn't happen. So I see throughout the county, not just on our farm, but throughout the county, just driving along on a Sunday afternoon, hundreds of trees on your line. Hundreds. Now, I'm sure these are old lines, and they can't withstand a big oak tree lying on your line. Clear almost to the ground, like Mr. McDougall said. You've got lots of area. It seems to me from April to October, people should be cleaning the lines, just so it won't be bad all year long.
So, just to clarify, the positions that we're hiring are what we call customer service technicians. And while part of their duty would be to do those sorts of things, their main duty is to handle trouble tickets. And if the trouble ticket is caused by that, and it's feasible for them to remove a smaller branch, they will go ahead and do that. If it's a tree, that's another issue. That's when we'll engage our engineering group and get some additional help in. So one of the things, just to go back to my point and let me finish my thought for a second on the additional heads here, we've also had a lot of turnover. And whenever you have turnover from people retiring, there's a certain embedded base of knowledge that goes with those folks that have been working these areas for, up to 30-some years. And so we're in the process now of hiring additional technicians in this area. And like I said, it's went a little slower than we'd like, but we're still working and moving forward with that. In addition to this, we have brought in temporary workers from other parts of Windstream to the area to help with the backlog of issues that we've had. And we have brought in temporary contractors as well. So we're trying is all, and we need to do more. But that's kind of where we're at with the employees in the area.
Well, I know of a tree, I've lived in my place for 36 years.
I'm sorry, ma'am, could you please state your name and your phone number?
Cheryl McCord, 724-451-8356. I've lived at my residence for 36 years, and I can take you to a tree that has been on that line for 36 years. Now there's numerous other ones since we've had some storms and stuff. I call the phone company all the time. Yeah, you have a ticket. Yeah, you placed a ticket. No, I have no record of you even having a ticket. Well, I got a ticket, and I called the PUC. Last time I called the PUC, I got my phone about half fixed from a guy they brought in from North Carolina. I think a little routine maintenance on a lot of these lines would go a long way, because you ride along this highway and you see the easements for these telephone lines, but where I live, it's a dirt road with grass growing in the middle. You need somebody out there.
I take offense to that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you should be because I just got over having a problem. I could hear my neighbors having a conversation on my phone while I was having a conversation on my phone. It took me about 3 months to get it fixed.
I wanted to ask too, it doesn't have to be right now, but I would like, before we, wrap this up tonight, if I could have one of the supervisors also talk about their situation.
Yeah, I'd like to speak.
Okay. I'm sorry, could you state your name, please?
Tim Chapman, I'm supervisor for Wayne Township. We had 2 weeks with no phone, no internet, and no fax line. It's kind of hard to run a municipal operation without that. But that's not that big a deal. But what we have is we're getting elderly residents out here each year. And their life depends on that damn phone. And if they can't get phone service, they might live 2 miles from the nearest neighbor. So you can't run down to the neighbor's house and hopefully use their phone. I understand you guys are short-handed, but it would seem to me if you get a repairman to come out and he works till 4 o'clock, and he says, well, my time's up, I'll be back tomorrow, and he might not show up for another week. Let him work over until that phone is fixed, and then either give him the next, whatever hours he has off on the next day or the next couple of days, whatever. But you cannot leave these people out here without a phone service. There's health issues, and a lot of health issues. There's a lot of people out here depend on that phone for heart monitors. I can name 3 or 4 right off the get-go, that if that phone is not working, that's not good for them. Fire service is another thing. And you know, when you pick up the phone, you expect to hear a dial tone, and you expect to be able to make contact with somebody you need. And right now, we're not having that, and there's no excuse for it.
I am somewhat familiar with the trouble that's at the community center, right? Or township. I believe you guys are working now, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that it's a temporary fix, and we have, again, one of those that I mentioned earlier. That's a spot where we're going to have to replace some cable, and we're in the process of getting that replaced to fix it permanently.
I think our secretary's paying you guys off because she didn't want to have to listen to the phone. But we do need a phone.
Not that I'm aware of, but.
But I mean, it's become a health issue. It's not a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. And as everybody gets older and everybody gets in worse health, you guys are going to step up. I mean, I'm not cutting on you, but you guys are going to step up the game here.
Well, and again, that's our intention here. I think we realize that we do have to step up, and there are certain things that we've got to do better.
And I know we're guilty of cutting into your lines because whoever you had to do along these lines, they just run them up the damn ditch line right over the top of culvert pipes and kept on going. Well, when we go to try to change the culvert pipe, there's a phone line.
Those are issues that impact service too.
Oh, I'll guarantee you, we're guilty of it.
And I think if one thing we can leave with tonight is, we're going to give you Mark's cell phone or number here in Williamsburg. He's a good point of contact for those sorts of issues, especially from you're going to see stuff that other people may not in your line of work. And anything you can give us will help.
But you're going to see things you haven't seen before either.
Right? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And like I said, we're here to all get better and try to provide better service for not only this area but the rest of the county as well. So
we started up Calico here to replace pipes, and they just sent a repairman out behind us. They knew we were going to get in every one of them, but it was laid right over the top of the pipe.
Well, yes.
Yeah, name's Dave McManus, phone number 724-435-7110.
Did you get that name? I'm sorry. I want to make sure you get it. Do you need a microphone, sir?
No, I can speak loud enough. But we've had sporadic phone service since April the 12th. And what happens is I'll go up, we gotta get in the car, drive up on a ridge because cell phone doesn't work. And I'll report it, and a couple hours later, 3 hours later, the phone will start to work. It's nothing but static. You can hear nothing, no dial tone, just static. And it'll start to work. I assume it's fixed. I never get a call saying, is your phone working? We finally had one technician come out. The phone hadn't worked for 5 days, 6 days. He comes out, the phone's working. So what's he gonna fix? Okay, he leaves, an hour later, guess what? The phone doesn't work. He said, I think it's in your house. Well, I go outside, I plug the phone in outside the jack, and I have static, so it's not the house. Now, it's worked for what, the past couple, 3 days? Is it fixed? I don't know, because I put a ticket in, multiple tickets. But I don't know if it's fixed. Just because it's working doesn't mean it's fixed. Nobody calls. And the last time I went up on the ridge, I was 32 minutes on the phone, and reporting the issue. And it just dawned on me, we're both disabled, both have health issues. And we depend on that because it just dawned on me, I just had I take warfarin. okay? I depend on that phone when I take the test for the doctor to call me because one or two issues, it's either three. It's either normal, where I could, a little nick, I could bleed to death, or I could suffer another pulmonary embolism if it's too thick, because it's hereditary. No phone. And it just dawned, now I gotta remember to call him tomorrow, because you know, with age, there's a little memory issue sometimes.
Yeah.
But the problem, I mean, it's been, we've had the issues before, but it never seemed so bad. This past April, or before that, the same thing occurred, I would think it's fixed. We don't even know if it's really fixed. It's working, but it's not fixed, because we don't know that.
And just to, let's go back for just a quick second on somebody, you know, that it seems to be a reoccurring theme a little bit about the trees on the lines. And that could be a situation right there where a tree has gotten on the line somewhere, maybe not on the line anymore, but done the damage to the cable. There's an opening in the cable. When it gets wet, there's a trouble. When the sun comes out and it's a beautiful day like it is today, dries it up, trouble's away. So if that tech gets there and the trouble's not on the line, it takes an extraordinary amount more time typically to find that trouble. But that's, you know, that's our job, and we've got to get out. And that goes back to when we get the people in place, we feel like that we'll be able to catch that trouble while it's actually in trouble before the sun comes, and hopefully get you permanently fixed.
My name is Shirley Bookman, phone number 724-435-7110. I've lived on Hoy Run Road for 22 years. When we moved in there, we had phone trouble. One of your people come down. Well, it took me about 3 months actually to get somebody to come down. He told me when I want to talk on my phone, take it next to my furnace and it'll work. I said I ain't carrying my phone to my furnace to make a phone call. Well, I kept calling, somebody else come down, they said it was a supervisor. He told me my cable from my house to the road was cracked, that there's water in it. 22 years later, nobody's done anything about that cable. Is anything ever going to be done? And when?
Well, yes, we will check into it, and if that's the case, then that could be a potential another spot that we've identified 14 or 15 of them already. That could be number 16 or 17 or 18.
During the month of April, we have called them and called them and called them, and they've told us 4 times a technician was coming down. He never showed up. We never got told, oh, he couldn't come because of this, or he couldn't come because of that. So when I would go up the road and use my cell phone, oh, well, he had something else, he couldn't come. We'll send someone, you know, how many days and how many times am I gonna keep told the same thing and nothing happens?
Well,
I'm 70 years old. I need my phone.
I understand, and I apologize for all that inconvenience, ma'am. That's not our intention at all. So I think it's a good time for me to talk about this, and that is how I would like for this area to move forward as we move forward and try to make things better. So first of all, I'll just say, when you have a trouble, we need you to call the 1-800 number. And I know that that's not always a pleasant experience for anyone. Hold on, sir. And once we do that, that starts the process on the ticket. That gets in our system. You know, it takes up time. It takes time off of our schedule or our technician capacity, and then we can tell you when we'll be there. And our intention is to be there at that time. That's the start. Now, if you're continuing to have issues, this is why I brought Mark and my team here. I need you to put the trouble ticket in. I've got the number here. It's 1-800-347-1991.
What's that number again?
We don't know that number.
Y'all,
What's that number again?
Probably programmed in the phone. The number's 1-800-347-1991. But that starts the process, right? And then ultimately that will get the technician dispatched if we determine that a field dispatch is needed. And my intent of having our folks here is that if there's an issue or you're not getting the level of satisfaction you need from that 1-800 number, then we're gonna have you go to Mark here locally, and then we'll try to get on that as soon as possible. I can't turn Mark into the 1-800 number. He is a one-man crew, or a one manager crew, and he has a crew of technicians to manage as well. But from the standpoint of, let's give it a chance, go through the 800 number. Again, if we're not getting what you need or what you think is right, then the initial spot will be to call Mark, and then we'll go from there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Paul Blake, 435-7541. The people you hire, are they all trained the same?
Great question. So, yes, the new hires that we have.
Okay, they sent 4 people to my house. I was out a phone for 14 days. It took the 4th one 15 minutes to fix my phone. The other ones never did find out what the hell was wrong with it. And I got a heart monitor, you know, that runs by the phone.
Right.
And, but they couldn't find out. If they're all the same, they should know what the hell the problem is.
I would hope so. I was gonna touch on that briefly though. So as I mentioned, we have these technicians that we're hiring right now. They all go through a new hire training class. They all have tools and test equipment, upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 on them in test equipment, and they all need to know how to use it and should know how to use it.
How come the first 3 didn't know what the 4th one did?
Well, specifically, I can't answer that, but I can tell you this, we have made some changes here locally.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, no problem, sir. In the management group, and we obviously, we hope that makes a difference in the performance of some of our techs.
Jim Phillips, now I'm not gonna give you a 435 number because I dropped you folks. But prior to 2006, and this probably, a lot of it does not concern this group here because you guys probably weren't even here then. But there was a new line supposed to be installed up J. Phillips Hill Road. It came about 200 yards off of 218 up J. Phillips Hill Road and was ended. Who's supposed to check and see if those jobs are completely finished and the customers are satisfied with the service that's provided by your company before you sign off on it?
So, are you saying like a construction job, placing a new cable, right?
We're supposed to put a new cable up our road because down by my neighbors, the groundhogs were shooting into the underground line, ants were building nests in boxes, get a little bit of heavy dew, you had so much static on the phone you couldn't hear, you
Right.
answered the phone, you know, the
So-
line was dropped, you know, you didn't have internet. I know it was prior to 2006 because my son was killed in Iraq prior to 2006. And in 2006, by 2006, I'd already dropped 2 people because I didn't get any satisfaction whatsoever, and I went wireless. I was one of the lucky few out here that could get service from the AT&T power and plant.
Yeah, yeah.
But these other residents are now coming around and getting the same problem that we had 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So it's not something that this is something that you guys inherited. It's not the same crew of people that I'm sure was in charge back then, but that line was supposed to be running clear up to that lady's mom and dad, and it never showed up.
That's true. There's, I've been here a year, Steve's been here less than a year, Mark's been here 2 months. And also, let me say, I'm sorry to hear about your son and appreciate his duty for the country.
Thank you.
So, to answer your initial question is, how do we inspect those? Yeah, we do. That's kind of falls under Ron's shop. He, in addition to Mark and the local technicians, we have 2 local outside plant engineers or construction managers that kind of do wear both hats. And that's part of their duties, is to inspect these jobs to make sure that the folks that are doing that work do it well. Obviously, we spend a lot of money on those projects, and we don't need them to do not good work, because ultimately that leads to trouble tickets. And that's not what the investment was made for. It was to make things better. So, yes, we do inspect those. And to say that we inspect everything on those is sometimes we can do a little better on that, and we'll do better on that.
Yes.
Yes. Diane Headley, 724-435-7002. Speak about your technicians.
They're wonderful, but they're not. Because of the fact, I called in there, I wanted to upgrade my internet to be faster. And the young lady that took care of me, she supposedly checked it out, said that I could be upgraded to a 50. I said, well, I don't need that much, I just need a little bit faster. I had a 6, I wanted a 25. She says, no problem, you have it, $5 a month. Okay, cool. That $5 turned into $35. And technician come. The son-in-law couldn't understand me, for one. I don't know where he was, well, he was a foreigner. He was supposed to put the cable where they're on, under the ground. He didn't do it. So, I wasn't there. If I was there, it'd have been done the way we wanted it done. So the internet got slower, 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 slower. And I'm thinking, she said that we had it. Technician came, put us at a 15. From 25 to 15, he says, well, you're too far away from the building to get a 25. I said, the girl said that she checked it out and said that we were close enough to get to 25 or 50. Well, that's not right. He spent almost 2 hours doing outside my box there, and it's still slower than a 7-year itch. So, my question is, it was the same question Mr. Blake had. If 3 technicians done his, the 4th one done fixed it, they're not all trained alike. I live right down here on 218. Every time that they mess with those boxes out on them lines, we don't have no fun.
One of the technicians told me he didn't do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
That
it
wasn't
just-
his job, he didn't do that kind of work.
You know, I know this meeting is good for everybody to be verbal and to really don't be afraid to talk. But it seems like we're getting fed a bunch of bull, is what we're getting fed.
Our bills
And I have my dish bundled up. First thing I know, my Windstream is out of sight. No, it's the dish. I called the dish. No, it's Windstream. And then I got looking really closely at my bill. We're getting tax after tax after tax, on top of tax after tax after tax. We should be getting that. And that, yeah, and this is, I just feel money that we all pay out. My husband and I's working 2 jobs, and I feel so bad for the elderly that's putting out money to get a service for their health, they're not receiving it. I feel that y'all ought to do something besides. That's, if we even have to, we got prisoners, we got 2 jails. Let's get them out here on these lines, cutting the trees down. We gotta do something. I know people thinks we're out in the boonies. No, we're not. You know, we're not getting the service we deserve. And I just feel we should.
well, I appreciate your comments, and again, we got your number. We'll go back and look, and we'll look.
I forgot something.
Yes,
Yes, I got a phone call. They were supposed to come out to upgrade again, 25. Windstream called me Saturday and said that your technician's going to be at your place from 8 o'clock a.m. to 7 p.m. on May 7th. I'm thinking, May 7th? That's on a Sunday. Why on earth? That is our Lord's Day. We shouldn't have to stay home to get a phone call that I never received. Then when we do get a phone call, I do not answer. If it's not a local call, and I've learned my lesson on that too, that second technician called me, and it was from, I don't know, Philadelphia or someplace. And I'm thinking, I don't know anybody in Philadelphia. I answered, and it was him. Now, if the technician is going to call us, it should read on our caller ID, Windstream, not Philadelphia, Charleroi, or whatever.
Right, and I believe, most of our technicians, when they do call you, it should come up that way. Now, again, we brought in technicians from other markets to help out, and that may be one of the explanations for that, but I understand what you're saying.
But
I
it's
appreciate
a
the
courtesy
feedback.
call.
Agreed.
You know, we waited all day and
Yeah.
nothing. Then I give, and they can't say that I wasn't home. An hour, I was not home, but I also give my daughter's phone number in case they couldn't get a hold of us, and they never called her either. But
Okay, I just wanted to remind people too that we're gonna have an opportunity for you guys as well. Just please don't forget that after we're done, please speak, you're gonna have an opportunity to speak to one or more than one representatives from Windstream as well. We do have some other, this lady right here has been wanting to say something for a while, and I'm sorry. So
There's
please,
not many businesses in this area, and I have Judy's Hair Salon.
okay, can you state your name, please?
Yes, Judy McGrady, my phone number is 724-627-3536. I have more tickets in my pocket than money since October, because my phone has been out of order. Now, I cannot operate a business with my phone being out of order. So I do need some help somewhere. I have tried, I've called, I've reported everything, and people, my clients have to stop at my house because they get this recording like I did. Your call did not go through. Please hang up and place your call again. I get that constantly. I don't know why. I've had good service. And I'm a South Penn telephone operator from way back. So we had better service back then than we have now, with modern technology.
We'll get your number down, ma'am, and I think we already did.
I need some service out
Yeah,
there,
we'll get on
or I'm
that.
gonna have to close my doors.
Right.
That's bad.
We ain't gonna let you do that.
Thank you.
Okay, you've been standing up for a while,
Okay.
so.
My name is Carol Adamson. My number is 724-451-8406. And I thank you for coming. That's a hot seat to be in, I'm sure. It's very uncomfortable up there. I will say this, I disagree a little bit because I have had wonderful patient people when I call in. They've been very pleasant to me, they're very considerate. I've talked to them from South Carolina to Colorado. I was asked, where are you? Because they have no idea where Coontown, Pennsylvania is, nor does most people. However, my problem started last October when I started having, I couldn't dial, I could dial out, but then I could not do an automated service. Like if it says push 1, push 2, as soon as you push 1 or 2, it goes dead. Okay, so I called and I got a number, still have a number, still have a ticket. It's never been resolved. In January, my husband and I were away for about a month, and when I came back, it was still there. Bought new phones, because I thought it was our phones. Bought new phones, still doing it. Bought new phones again, thinking, gosh, it must be these phones. So in March the 4th, I started calling every week, at least, sometimes twice a week. I'm sure they must know me there. And I probably was rude because I'd say, I know, honey, it's not your fault, but I'm venting to you. Because when you need something, I had an issue with a license on our truck, and I needed to call the Pennsylvania, PennDOT, wherever in Harrisburg, and it says push 1, push 2, it died. So I called the state police, and they said, it's the automated system. So I don't know why it doesn't work, and it isn't everywhere. I can call my credit card and find out how much money I don't have. So anyway,
you're in cahoots.
I think. I understand that this is a big problem, and it's as you said, this has been ongoing. I've lived with my husband in that house nearly 50 years, and it was better when we got married than it is now. However, I see those lines deteriorating. Not necessarily any of you guys' fault. It's just been a slowly decreasing system. My internet is deplorable. I'm hoping Pam can help us in these areas that we can get a better internet service. I worked from home about 2 weeks ago, and in 4 hours I got dropped 5 times. have to go disconnect the system, reconnect, it connects back up, and I can work for another half an hour. I understand. This can't be fixed overnight. And you gentlemen, if you're trying and you make some success, we're better off for it. So thank you for your time and listening to me. And certainly, if we, something I think is something we can do as a community to help, be glad to do it.
Well, I appreciate your comments, man. Thank you.
I'm more interested, my name's Jean Delaney, our phone number is 724-435-7167. I'm more interested in specifics, and Lord knows you have enough representatives here. I'm more interested in specifics, sir. How many service technicians do you have in the Greene County? You got people from Ohio, Kentucky, and everywhere. How many people, actually technicians, are working in the Greene County area, Fayette County, Washington area, counties?
What's the
Someone
number?
should know that
14?
number.
It's 11 right now, but there's
11. Are we talking for Greene County alone, sir?
Greene County, yes.
11 technicians.
11 with 3 openings currently. We're trying to get to 14.
How many phones, customers do you have, Windstream phone customers do you have? Give me a ballpark.
In Greene County?
Yes, sir.
Jeannie? Okay. I'll have to get that number and I'll get back to you.
How many you say you're currently trying to hire more technicians because of the problems out there? How many are you trying to hire?
Right now, we have 3 still that are
How many
open.
more are you going to hire?
Right now, 14 is what we're shooting for, and if that's not the number that works, then we'll add more.
Great.
But I can't add 19 if I can't hire 3. So that's kind of where the process is at.
Tell me this, are your hands tied by somebody higher up than you all?
No, we've had no issues from that at all. It's just been an ongoing process. It's taken a little longer than typical, and we're gonna continue to push forward and get these folks hired as soon as possible. And in addition to that, we will get them trained. There's at least a 6-week program that we have for new technicians that includes training.
6 weeks? I was one of the questions, sir. How long does it take, how long does Windstream train their technicians until they are qualified to go out into the community?
I would say at a minimum 6 weeks, depending on that individual technician's background. We've hired, I think, in the past week, we've hired 2 people, or 1 person that was from Verizon, doing the same type of work. So his, it's a he, right? I believe. His 20-year veteran from Verizon, so I would anticipate him being a little faster out the gate than most. And we also hire people who don't have a lot of experience, and we try to train them in that program. Now, initially, it's like any job, right? Some people take to it very quickly, others take a little more time. But we have a regimented program that we send them all through, so they are trained. Now, I've heard questions, and let me address this too. We have a lot of tenured employees here as well as newer employees. So that training, we actually send the folks that have been here and aren't new hires to another training course to make sure they understand the latest tests and tools. So training is an ongoing process for us. It's not just for the new hires. And we'll continue to move forward with that and get everybody trained as soon as possible.
Can we ask Pam's office?
I was just going to, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything on behalf of Pam's office or on behalf of the County of Greene. No pressure. I mean, it's.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering are we getting anywhere close to getting more internet service out in this area? Or, I mean, I got a
So
high
it's
bill,
definitely a work in
let's
progress.
power.
I wish that I could say that it was close as the representative would like to, but she's working on legislation, she's pushing forward, she's working Washington DC, Harrisburg. It's her top priority right now is to get the phone and the internet service in this area. But to be honest with you, it's not going quite as fast as we would like it to, but yes, she's working really hard. And I think that something that I'm legislative assistant, I get a lot of the calls when she's in Harrisburg. And I think part of what I'm hearing from a lot of the constituents, especially in this area, is they're calling Windstream and they're getting a ticket and they're saying, we'll be here on Tuesday. And they take a day off work and they don't come on Tuesday without a call saying they're not coming. And then they'll call back and say, well, we'll be there on Thursday. So they take a day off on Thursday and nobody comes on Thursday. And so when you guys run into that issue, we have a really good working relationship with Windstream, and I would like you to reach out to our office. I make direct contact with several of the employees, and where it's maybe harder for you to get through to the 1-800 number, I have a little bit more direct contact, and it seems to get taken care of a little bit faster. So if you ever see, that you have to call them first, because we have to have that ticket in there. But once you do that, if you're having a little difficulty, please reach out to our office. The representative and I will do our best to reach out to them. And I don't know if anybody in here I've talked to, but usually, to be honest with you, within 24 to 48 hours, sometimes 72 hours, we usually have resolution with Windstream. So we're really trying to partner with them so that we can sort of come together with you guys, because we know, I mean, this is the representative's husband. We don't live in this area, but we live in a small area of Greene County where our phone service and internet service is also very poor. So we know how important it is. I have teenage children who are in school who has to go to my brother's house to do homework because we don't have internet service. So, as a staff and as a representative, we really, I don't want it to sound just trite. I want you to really realize that we also deal with this, and we understand, and we are all working very hard along with Windstream to get this taken care of.
Yeah,
So,
but you know what? We pay our monthly bill. We shouldn't have to call you to get things done. We should be able to call Windstream and get our stuff done. We shouldn't have to go through Pam Snyder, or you, or anybody.
And
right,
that,
and I think they probably agree with that.
Yeah.
But sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes just a little extra push, a little extra help with somebody. We don't want it to have to be that way, and I'm sure Windstream doesn't either, but,
that was one of the reasons that I brought the crew that I brought tonight, is you guys do have direct access to someone here local that you can reach out to.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, and we are going to do that. Everybody here is going to have an opportunity to speak to one or more of the Windstream representatives, to talk directly one-on-one about your issues, concerns, and questions that you may have. Heidi, you mentioned that they can contact you. Is there a phone number?
absolutely. And I brought some of the business cards and a couple of things, just a letter from the representative just stating a couple of things that she's working on, but I can pass out. This gives the Waynesburg office phone and the district office in Carmichael, so you can reach out to myself. My name's on here any time. Please, if you want one, I'll set them up on, or I can pass them out. But if there's any issues, here, take one and pass it around. That way, if you have any issues, please feel free to call us. And if the representative's in Harrisburg, it's usually myself or her chief of staff. His name is Nate, that will be handling anything. But
I'm telling Jack right there, and he can tell her soon. Right, Jack?
I have one more thing. My granddaughter lives with us, and she's going to be a fourth-year nursing student at the university in Waynesburg. Every winter, when she's trying to do her papers, she's a 4.0. She has to go up to the college to do her work because our internet won't work. Now, we live 12 miles from the main highway. We live up a holler. The road's bad in the wintertime. I don't feel it should be necessary for her to go to that extent to do her homework. Her grade average, her whole future depends on her grade average.
I'm gonna take care of it.
Something needs done about the internet, and it needs done just as bad as it needs done about the phone as quick as possible.
Okay, okay. Yes, we have a supervisor in
I
about
just got one
10.
question. Which one of you guys is Mark?
He's over here, Tim.
Mark, I appreciate everything you've done for us. Anytime I ever called you, you made things work out for us. I really do appreciate that. But is there a number that we can call other than Colorado or South Carolina? Because I tell you what, and I'm not being smart, I don't like talking to people that I can't understand. And it is damn hard to try to get Spraggs area taken care of by those people because they just don't, it doesn't work. Is there a local number or a closer number that we can call and put a complaint in or put a trouble spot in without having to go clear out to Colorado.
Well, no, there's not.
I mean, I've called Mark and he's taken care of it, and I don't wanna keep bothering him,
Right,
but he has made things happen.
right.
And you're telling us that, okay, so if we have an issue, to call in, you're gonna take care of this, or even your office. Like, I'm sorry, Sharon, I'm gonna use you as an
Oh, by all
example.
means, go for it.
Like, that's unacceptable. It's an unacceptable situation, period. And we all know that. So why is it online? You're telling us just call in and make a ticket and we'll get it taken care of. You guys are aware of that situation. Some of these situations are just unacceptable.
Yeah, I've actually called in, I'd say at least 10 times. We'll make a medical ticket for you. Yeah, well, guess what? It didn't speed it up. It was still a week later. Like, you guys have some serious medical liability if something happens. But a lot of people. And no one seems to give two craps about it. I mean, you all aren't very convincing. I mean, you're not giving us details, no future plans, this is what we have planned on doing. I mean, I'm leaving here probably even more mad than when I came in, because, I mean,
We're not accomplishing
I
anything.
mean, we
Yeah,
called
we're not
Colorado
accomplishing
about the
anything.
township. And the lady said, well, they didn't have a bucket truck to come out and work on the line. Well, come on, we'll cut the damn pole down so he can stand on the ground and work on the line. That's not an excuse.
Okay, listen, what we're gonna do now is, we're gonna provide everyone here the opportunity to talk to these representatives. Can you stick around for a little bit? Representative, Heidi from Pam's office will stick around. Please feel free, we have refreshments. We'd like you to please have some refreshments. And really take the time, the opportunity, to speak with them. Because I want to make this very clear too. I understand what you're saying, about, you feeling like more mad than before you came here. But I just wanted to know that I just wanted everybody to be, to remember that the purpose for us to hold this, I looked at this as, in my opinion, a big first step as far as trying to get some networking done. The opportunity for these, I mean, there are a lot of residents right here in this room, and this isn't even everybody, is it? And so this is a small community, but look at how many people we have here today who are frustrated and who are dealing with issues. So it's important that we have this opportunity, for number one, for me to hear this, because we are writing a story for the local newspaper. But also, really, more importantly for me, is for those of you who are having these issues and concerns, who are frustrated, to have an opportunity to meet and talk one-on-one. The purpose of asking for your names and phone numbers, they have documented that. And they are going to be looking into your situation. I had a personal issue myself with Windstream. I don't live in this area, of course, but it was a year ago. I spoke with I spoke with somebody's representatives one-on-one, and I have to say, on a personal level, they addressed my situation, and it wasn't because of anything. I threatened them with a big story or anything. I just simply said, hey, here's my situation. I was frustrated. I was tired of calling the 800 number, not getting, like a lot of feedback. And I talked to them, and my issue, which wasn't a landline, but my issue got resolved. And I really believe that it was because of that networking opportunity. And I'm hoping that something like this can happen with the residents here. So please take the opportunity to speak with them. I personally want to thank all the residents for sharing their stories and talking, but we're not done yet. This is just the beginning. I would like to talk to some of you. One of the reasons why I was asking for you, if you haven't signed this, for the residents, to please come up before you leave and put your name and phone number down, so I can contact you, as we continue to do this, if I have any follow-up questions based on some of the things that you've said. But also, if you're okay with it, to provide the representatives with your names and phone numbers so that they can contact, they can be in contact with you, networking with you one-on-one.
Will you have future meetings? Will you have future meetings?
I'm sorry?
Will you have future meetings?
We can do that, absolutely. I mean, you know, we can certainly do that. This isn't just a one-shot deal. I mean, my goal is to see progression. As a reporter, it wasn't just enough for me to say, well, you guys are upset, and we're gonna write about it. I have from day one, the first story I heard, and I thank the Hoy family for actually sharing, they were the first story that I heard. This is where this came to be. I don't wanna just write a story about, you know, the David and Goliath, you know, blah, 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 all that cliche stuff. I wanna see a positive resolution out of this. And I think that this is the first step into, hopefully down the road, we can all see that together. So please, before you leave, make sure that you put your name and phone number down, have an opportunity to speak with the representatives from Windstream and also from Pam's office, and thank you for coming. And like I said, when we have future meetings, we will post it, we will publicize it. Jane, our office manager, she knows probably everybody here, maybe. But we will do our best to keep everybody notified as to upcoming information. I'd also like to thank Brent Spitznagel in the back. He's the guy that kind of looks like me. He is from Melodies and Memories. Am I saying that right? Or is it the other way around? Memories and Melodies. I apologize. But we are videotaping this, and we're also taking pictures because we want to preserve all of this information, and we want to make sure that all of our facts are accurate when we write future stories. But when we have some updates regarding a next meeting or anything of that nature, we will definitely publicize it in our paper, and we will post it on Facebook. I know a lot of you saw it on Facebook and on our website. So again, on behalf of the Greene County Messenger, I'm Steve Barrett. I thank you for coming. Yes.
Yeah, and just, you know, one more thing. I think to go back to what I said initially, we've had some issues here. And, you know, we didn't all come up here not to address the issues or not to be specific, or I didn't necessarily know exactly what you're looking for. That's why we brought these people to go research your individual stuff. You know, there's, you know, I don't know how many numbers are on that list, but there's quite a few. And that's exactly what we'll do. And I'll be more than happy to come back here, and you know, we're going to work on this very hard and do the diligence that we need to do to provide better service in this area. So I too appreciate everyone coming out tonight, and yes.
I think we all understand that it's taken a long while for the wheels to fall off this train. And it's gonna take a long while to put them back on. As long as you guys are making progress,
Yes.
I think that most of us will be satisfied with that.
That was the point I was going to try to make there is, you know, we didn't get in this shape overnight, and we won't get out of it overnight, but, you know, we're here to work at it. And that's how we're going to progress and try to get better every day and provide the service that you all deserve.
My name's Jane Adams. I am the office manager with the Greene County Messenger, but I also live in Spraggs. My phone service is nothing like the Hoys, but it does, when it rains, it gets very staticky. But I just wonder, my notion is that the lines are shot. They're old. Like, I realize it would be a very big expense, but when you have an area like this, especially up where the Hoys live, why aren't those lines replaced?
Again, I can't speak specifically on why those lines were not replaced to Mrs. Hoy, but I can tell you this. There's really two types of situations, as you mentioned, when you have this, and it could be a number of things. It could ultimately lead to a replacement of the cable, but there's also maintenance things that can be done. Like somebody, you know, we heard a lot of branches on trees, or on lines and things like that. Those are things that, you know, we can do, and that may rectify the problem, hopefully. So.
Is that being done? I mean, somebody said, I forget who said that it used to be every summer they would go out and clear the lines off. Does that still happen?
No, we don't have a specific program to do that, but we will address it as we know of it.
I think it's a good, I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I just think it's a good idea. I mean, I don't remember when I was a kid, I lived in Spraggs all my life. I don't remember the phones ever being the way
way they are now. And I don't know if it's because so many people have cell phone service that Windstream thinks that, well, you know, they probably have cell phone service, so they don't need a landline. I don't know if that's what it is. I live right down the road here. I have no cell phone service. There's several places in this area that there's no cell phone service. Like Shara said, she has to drive her ATV up on the hill to get cell phone service. We don't have that here.
How many people have cell phone service? Raise your hands.
Here?
One? Oh my God, Mark does.
I don't have Windstream.
How many people do not have cell phone service?
Jeremy, you're hated. We love you. Only because you're
I just think that it would be a good idea to
We have cell service.
maybe that's a good idea, maybe they need to be clear, maybe like BJ, I think BJ said it. Get the prisoners out here to do that, you know, I mean, maybe that's not feasible, I don't know,
They
but
work for
something
free.
has to be done.
Yeah, but I think there's too much liability for
There's
that.
some liability with that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough to get the prisoners out on work, especially with something like that.
They need to do it.
Yeah, they're not trained.
Thank you for the suggestion.
I have one more question.
with-
If they're putting fiber optic down Route 19, which I know for a fact, because they stopped at my son's house, and they can afford to put fiber optic for the businesses going down 19, why can't they afford to fix the lines for the people that live here?
Specifically, I don't know about that project, and again, it's not our intention not to fix the lines that are here. It's,
I mean,
you know,
look how much
clearly we
money
have
you're
to
putting
do
into
better.
that.
I understand everybody's frustration, but it's not like we're not trying to offer better service here, and we'll continue to work at it. And again, I apologize to everyone for that, and, you know, we came here kind of knowing that this was gonna be the case, and that we had some issues, and, you know, this is how we move forward. So I think it's a good time for us. I'm gonna have my representatives come up here, and they'll all sit, and we'll take your names and numbers down, if you may have not already, and then we'll get back to you on an individual basis, okay?
And once again, we thank everybody for coming, but please don't leave. If that, you know, please have an opportunity to come up and speak to the representatives from Windstream.